I'm Kevin Klein. I want to bring you inside City Hall for a moment to talk about a motion that was lost at the most recent IRPW committee hearing. I think once you hear what the motion was and why it lost, you'll react the same way I did, in shock. I was amazed at the reasoning why the motion lost, and I was amazed at some of the comments by the public service and by my colleagues. The motion, I know you've heard about. It was in all the media. A young student, a grade school student by the name of Jake, sent me a handwritten letter suggesting that our area was overrun with pollution lately. I know a lot of that comes from the snowmelt, and there was lots of dog poop. And he noticed when he goes on his walk every day with his dog that there is a lot of it there, but there's nowhere to throw the garbage. There's nowhere to put the dog poop bags, nothing. And he's right. I drove around the area. I talked to Jake and his parents, and we came up with this plan. So I moved the motion, and I also told the public service I will pay for the cans. I can't find the price, but I will pay for the cans. During that call, they never told me what the price was. They didn't think it was that big of a deal. But here's what they said on the public record at the meeting.
And then, the next one's from, this is the request, you had the discussion on additional garbage receptacles, 3 of them here identified, and then the funding become, found from within as stated in the community committee recommendation. And I know there was discussions, and we heard earlier today that there was no information on the costing of collection. I'm not sure why that is, because we had the litter bin report. The last update was the active transportation trails, where we identified placement of a container and the cost of installing that and maintaining it, and then of course the individual pickups. So if it's on a collection route already, every time you pick up a bin, it's approximately $8.90. And if it's on a non-collection route where we have to go off a route, that was identified at $15 in the December report. And then, your cost of acquisition, I usually try to work with places like the CBCRA and that for, or some supported funding opportunities for the collection of the placement of the material equipment. We've talked about this on numerous occasions. When you're talking about waste and you're talking about whether it's dog feces or animal feces, or if it's materials, we're dealing with a number of challenges here, even where we have significant amount of collection receptacles. And it appears that wherever we grow those, there's other materials that show up right there as well that, it's believed we're not collecting frequently enough. So it's up to the committee to make these recommendations. We've had numerous discussions on it, and so you understand the costs, and depending on the frequency that you'd recommend for pickup, there's a cost associated to that.
Okay, first of all, the cost, $8.90 or $15 every 2 weeks per garbage can. I mean, we're looking at what, $780 to $1,000 a year to do this? I offered to pay for the garbage cans. In fact, in my investigation, I found out that there is an organization that will give us the garbage cans with recycling attached, and they will pay us for the recyclables. So we could actually be ahead of the game. But I also heard from the person responsible, in charge of this organization, that the city doesn't want to talk to them about it, and they refuse, out flat refuse, to put any more garbage recycling receptacles in the city. It's too expensive. But let's listen to the questions that some of my colleagues asked, and then we'll get to the motion itself.
So does that cost also include the maintenance cost? You said to pick up $8 and something cents if it's on a collected route, $15 if it's not. Does it also include the tipping fees when you're taking it to the dump?
They don't like. There's we have certain. You remember we've got certain trade-offs because we do a lot of environmentally friendly work with the water and waste department. So there's certain dollars that we in lieu of tipping fees, like bringing all the sweeping material to Summit Road landfill, for example. So there is some trade-offs. I haven't incorporated. I think it's about 10 cents per or 1 cent per collection of those bins because of the volume rate versus a tonnage of material at Brady Road. So it's broken down in that operational cost.
So where would those operational costs come from then? Is there
They would come from the same budget that does pothole repairs and sign maintenance and everything else to maintain the right of way.
Okay, cost is a factor. Listen, I understand all elected officials try to present themselves as fiscally responsible. So I'm not going to argue that. But how can we say $780 to maybe $1,000 a year we just cannot afford? We can't afford it. And how can the public service say, well, that money would come out of fixing potholes, fixing roads, snow clearing? Come on. 3 garbage cans at about $1,000. If that's accurate, this is what I bring to the city of Winnipeg. I will find efficiencies that will save you $50,000, $100,000. Just give me a couple of hours to work with you. And then we will be able to do more garbage cans in the city of Winnipeg. I have one colleague that's saying taxpayers want value for the money. Taxpayers want the government to get the work for them. It's not just value for your money. We need to know where the expenses and where the money is going. We need to stop paying $3 for something when you and I both know it costs $1. Where's that other $2 going? Let's listen to my other colleague, Councillor Burwadi.
I just want to say that I appreciate Councillor Klein and the young person who did the video this morning. I'm fully supportive of wanting Winnipeg streets to be cleaner and less garbage this time of year in particular. Things are melting and you see stuff that's accumulated over the winter, and it's pretty ugly out there. So again, it may look like 3 one-off garbage cans isn't such a big deal, but I mean, I have residents that have been asking for garbage cans for a long time. They saw this and they're going, Jeff, these kids get their garbage can, I want mine. I mean, I'm gonna recruit some little kids to request the one on North Main that he wants, and it's bugging me for a couple of years. So we've been pretty consistent. I've asked, I've moved some garbage bins around in the past, like to try and keep the operating costs the same.
Was that successful?
I got a little bit of pushback. There was one bin that I moved away from one corner to another spot, so there was a little bit of pushback with the one being moved, but I think I moved them into the right spots, and I think overall it was the right thing to do. So I would very much, perhaps maybe a mayoral campaign this fall could, talk about a great clean and green city and promote more public space garbage cans more broadly. I'm not gonna. Again, apologies to the children this morning, but I'm going to move to receive this as information.
Moved by Councillor Brody, all in favor? Aye. Contrary, carried.
Okay, so there you have the vote and the comments made by Councillor Burwadi. And first I want to talk about Councillor Burwadi's comments. I agree. It is very hard and next to impossible to get the public service to add any garbage cans. They tell you they have to move them around, and that's a difficult decision to make. But I offered to pay the fee of the $780 to $1,000 a year. I want to keep harping away because that's how much this is. I offered to do that, and he didn't want to do it because it would impact his residents. Fair enough. I get that. I accept that. But I'll be happy to back your motion to put 3 more in your ward if you're willing to pay the $700 or $780 to $1,000. I'm with you. Or if you want to work with me to find efficiencies within the department, because maybe between the two of us we could find hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that are being wasted. But I get it. I understand. Look. The reality is this, we need a better way at City Hall. We have to stop talking about, we don't want to cost the taxpayers more money. No, we don't. We want value for the taxpayer. Sure, but let's look at the facts. Let's look at the real problem. And it's the budgets that have been passed in the last 6 years. And it's the fact that we don't know how that money is being spent specifically. Any company, it's no fault of the public service, any company that's not accountable to like a board of directors, is going to have some areas where they keep spending when they don't have to, where money is wasted. That's what we have to tap into. That's where we will help taxpayers and improve services. They just don't want value. They want improved services. They want what they pay for, and they want the city to stop wasting money. That's what I'll make sure happens. The city stops wasting money.